Welcome back to the channel. Side Hustle Cinema here, and thank you for clicking on the video. I just got done watching the third episode of the Chucky TV series, and I'm going to break it all down for you and give you my thoughts and opinions on everything that's happening. This episode was a little bit different, a little cringy in some areas. And yeah, so we'll talk about everything, and maybe we update that kill count. Maybe Chucky got himself another victim. Well, we'll find out. So let's get into it. So the episode starts off with Jake and Chucky, continuing to talk about whether or not, he should kill Lexi. Chucky's trying to convince him that that's what he needs to do, and Jake obviously wouldn't mind seeing her gone, but he doesn't necessarily want to be the one to do it. Doesn't know if he has it in him to do it. Then Chucky talks about his first time that he murdered someone. And that kind of starts a series of some flashbacks that continue throughout the episode. Then we cut to a classroom scene where we see the biology teacher talking to Devon's mom, who's the detective that's a little bit suspicious of Jake and not quite sure if he's on the up and up, or is he hiding something? What's going on with him? So she's trying to poke around and get some information from the biology teacher, and the biology teacher's just kind of stonewalling her, not giving her anything. She's really kind of went out of her way to protect Jake quite a bit in the series so far. Kind of makes you wonder a little bit maybe what's going on. Does she have any ulterior motives for, her actions? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Then we cut to Jake talking to Devon in the hallway. And they start to have a little moment, but it's just kind of awkward and cringy. I don't know, it just feels kind of weird. Doesn't, they don't seem to have that chemistry together, when it's supposed to be like a love interest or something, but every time they're together it just feels like weird, kind of cringy, awkward for sure. You find out later that Devon was actually recording the whole conversation, and you wonder what that's about. Well, Jake has to rush off to go do something, and he runs into the biology teacher again on the outside of the school, and she's telling him how she's going to put the parents of Lexi and his guardians together and try to come up with a solution, for this whole bullying, incident and things that have been going on, try to smooth things over. Jake seems kind of hesitant about it, but he needs to get away because he's got something pressing going on. And then you kind of find out what he's up to. He's actually got some kind of a tracking device on Lexi, and she's out for a jog, and he's kind of stalking her because he's, thinking about taking her out, thinking about killing her. So you actually see her jogging, and he's kind of jogging in the distance, running with a knife, a big butcher knife. And you think he's going to end up taking her out. Well, he ends up coming up on her, and he kind of starts like he's going to, maybe stab her. And then it turns out it's just Junior. Yeah, so Junior and Lexi are wearing like the same jogging outfit, and I guess you can't really tell the difference between him and a 13-year-old girl. Anyway, I found that kind of funny, but so it didn't go so well. Junior kind of freaks out on Jake, and but he didn't see the knife, so it kind of got smoothed over a little bit. And next thing you know, you got Junior talking to Lexi, wearing their matching outfits. And he's telling her that she needs to apologize, to Jake for the incident at the Halloween party, where she dressed up as his dad, his dead dad. She doesn't really seem open to it at that point. But then, her little sister throws a fit wanting the Chucky doll. that Jake has, and how it's her friend, and she misses him and all this. So Lexi, does the right thing. She goes over to Jake's place, tries to have a conversation with him a little bit, see if she can't get that doll, maybe apologize, smooth things over with Junior a little bit. She's got her back to Jake, and Jake's got this big, like, some kind of a, this giant curved knife thing, and, looks like he might take her out, but then she kind of turns around and, notices he's acting a little strange. Well, he ends up deciding not to give her the doll, and things kind of fall apart. They insult each other a little bit, and she takes off. Jake's all angry now because he can't seem to do the thing that he wants to do, which is kill her. And so he's up there, and he's got another sculpture. This one's another doll sculpture, but it looks like Lexi. And he's up in his room, and he's stabbing it, kind of looking a little bit psycho. And then he starts talking to Chucky again. Chucky's watching the whole thing. And so Chucky's like, you know what? I'll take this one for you. Why don't you give her what she wants? Send me over to the house. Get me in there. I'll take care of Lexi for you. You don't have to worry about it. Well, the episode kind of makes it seem like this is okay, but I mean, once Jake does this, in my opinion, this makes him guilty. I mean, he's just as guilty as Chucky is, kind of, because, you can't put, a lion in someone's house, and if the lion eats someone, you have no responsibility for it, So, if he puts Chucky in the hands of this little girl, and in the house with Lexi and her parents, whatever happens is kind of on Jake, in my opinion. It kind of makes him guilty too. The episode doesn't quite treat it like that, which I thought was kind of interesting. So next we see that Devin's having a conversation with his mom, the detective, and she's kind of telling him, hey, you need to stay away from Jake because all these bad things keep happening around him, and wherever he goes, trouble seems to follow. And that's when you find out that he had recorded that conversation earlier that they had in the hallway. You're not real sure what he's up to. Is he into Jake, or is he just doing this for his podcast, or what's he up to? You're not quite sure. Then we jump over to Jake actually taking the doll over to Lexi's house to give it to his little sister, Carolyn. And, it seems to go well. The little girl's super happy. And Lexi seems appreciative. And maybe things are starting to smooth over a little bit, although she, is still kind of a very, very mean person, obviously. And so next we see that, we jump back to the school and that meeting between the parents. Well, the parents were being sort of dismissive of Lexi's behavior, and then the teacher shows the parents, both sets of the parents, what went on at the Halloween party, the video of Lexi. And that was actually kind of a cool moment because, the parents were very dismissive of their daughter's behavior, and it was kind of cool for them to see how horrible she is without being able to deny it. So with the parents being gone for the evening, Lexi decides that it'd be fun to have a party over at her house. So she has a bunch of the kids, over. You see Oliver, Devin comes over. There's a few other characters that, you don't really know who they are. But they come over for this party where, they all wear headphones. So I guess so they can listen to the music loud without, making a lot of noise, disturbing the neighbors. And you see, like, Lexi getting a little too friendly with Oliver. And Oliver just, seeming to enjoy it a whole lot. And it's like right in front of Junior. which breaks all the bro codes there are, so, not very cool of Oliver to do that. And this starts like some of the flashbacks of, Charles Lee Ray when he was young. He's sleeping in his bed and he hears some noise downstairs and he realizes that, it's the serial killer who's been, killing a lot of people around town. And he's obviously like done some kind of home invasion and he's fighting downstairs. So, young Charles Lee Ray goes downstairs to investigate and he sees his dad actually getting murdered by this guy. His mom comes and gets him and they go upstairs to hide in a closet. Now we jump back to the party and this is where we are going to update the kill count. So far in the series, we are up to 2 humans and 1 cat. We've had Crispy Devonsawa, we've had Annie, You Missed a Spot, and we've had Binksy the cat getting killed. And this week, we did have another murder, and let's take a look at it.
Hey, Lexi. Shit, my bad. I thought you were Lexi. Fuck it.
Oh yeah, Oliver, don't mess with another guy's girl. Oliver ended up getting his. Chucky mistook him for Lexi. Apparently she looks like dudes in this episode. And so yeah, Chucky stabs him in the leg, ends up saying, you know what, he's here, I'm going to go ahead and kill him too. And he goes ahead and kills him. I was kind of shocked by this, though. I gotta admit. Especially the way he did it, like the stabbing thing, like you figure maybe he would kill a kid. It would be like one of those accidental kind of ways. Maybe he drops a chandelier on somebody or shoves him out a window or something like that. You wouldn't think you would get like such a brutal, murder scene involving such a young kid. Never really in the history of like the horror franchises, Jason, Michael, Freddy, no one's ever killed like a young kid. Teenager, maybe 17, 18, sure. But we're talking like 14 years old here. I mean, this kid would look kind of, he was kind of tall. He looked a little bit older. But he still had a baby face to him, I mean, this was obviously a young kid. And so it was a little bit, it was shocking. It was shocking. For sure. Didn't expect that to go down. And but it was cool because now all bets are off, No one's safe. No one's fair game in this show. Which that makes it kind of cool. So, Oliver, you're on the board, buddy. Don't mess with another guy's girl. Chucky's gonna get you. So next we jump back into the party, and Lexi's kind of went off on her own to smoke another big fat J. And she sees some little shoes underneath the curtains, and you're thinking, uh-oh, is Chucky gonna get victim number 2 for the episode? Is he gonna get Lexi? Because now you're not sure, anything can happen. And, well, sure enough, it was just a pair of shoes, but, you know, Chucky used that as a decoy so he could jump up and try to strangle her. And they're fighting, and she dropped her blunt, and, you know, it starts a fire in her room. And, you know, she's putting up a good fight, and she ends up kind of freeing herself up a little bit. And you're not real sure what's going to happen to her. You know, I had to watch the upcoming episode just to see if she, or the upcoming preview to the episode, just to see if she was going to make it or not. She ends up pulling through, you know, because you weren't sure, you know. It looked like she was a goner. But she ends up making it through somehow to the next episode at least. But her house is on fire, and, you know, her little sister's upstairs sleeping. Everyone downstairs just dancing with their eyes closed, you know, listening to these headphones. They can't hear anything. They don't know what's going on. And this was some cool visuals, you know, of Chucky, you know, just standing, you know, in the fire. You know, the doll looks so good in this season, you know, this series. It's been a lot of fun. Well, you see Jake now in the, you know, he's in the graveyard. He went to visit his parents. He hears the sirens in the background. He knows something's up. He knows Chucky's done something. He kind of starts to feel some remorse, feel bad about it. But honestly, Jake, it's too late, buddy. I mean, you did the deed. I mean, you put, you know, you put the shark in the water. The shark's gonna eat. So you're just as much to blame as Chucky is, in my view. The show kind of doesn't treat it that way, but in my opinion, you're just as much to blame. So we'll see how, you know, this goes in the future. Looks like Jake and Lexi are probably going to team up a little bit, and you'll probably start to like Lexi a little more. And he'll probably start to kind of go after Chucky, because now Chucky really doesn't have a place to go because he's been exposed. You know, she knows that he's alive, and so this is obviously going to change things. It ends with that flashback. You got Charles Lee Ray hiding in the closet with his mom. You got the serial killer who just killed his dad. He's coming up to the closet to, you know, check things out and see what's going on. He ends up opening the closet door to find that, you know, young Charles Lee Ray murdered his mom. And that was also kind of cringy. A little bit weird for me. I didn't love it, but, you know, it just goes to show that, you know, he's been a psycho since birth, that it wasn't something he grew into, or nothing tragic happened to him that turned him this way. He was just always an evil person. And so he has this little conversation with this serial killer. You know, serial killer gives him some tips, you know, always cover your tracks. And then he leaves Chucky, you know, or he leaves Charles Lee Ray just, you know, sitting there, and he just skips on down the road. And that was the end of the episode. So, pretty cool episode altogether. A little shocking, you know, with the 14-year-old getting murdered. Charles Lee Ray killing his mom. Those were, you know, kind of shocking moments for me. But overall, it was a good episode. I think the next few episodes are going to get really fun. Looks like we're probably going to get a team up with Jake and Lexi. And who knows who Chucky will start taking out. Maybe the kill count will really start to double up. And, you know, we're 3 episodes in. Next week will be episode 4. That's halfway through the season. Probably about time we're going to start to see some of these older characters start to come into the fold. You never know. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, hit that like button for me. And if you're unsubscribed to the channel, do me a favor and subscribe if you would. I'd love to have you come aboard. And leave a comment about anything that we talk about in today's episode. What are your thoughts on this episode? What are your thoughts on the series in general? Are you enjoying it? And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Have fun, stay safe, keep watching those movies. I'll catch you next time.